The mental body and the spiritual body. In the same manner, the desires of our mental and spiritual bodies build our individualities. This process of building has been going on for ages. The great factors of heredity, environment, karma, thought vibration, and the action of universal laws in the planes beyond the physical all have their influences, just as the desires and vibrations of the physical organs attract and build the composition of the physical body. We are the results not only of the development of the race before us, but also of our individual development that has been going on since our creation as individual souls. We are the sum total of all our experiences in every state of consciousness. In my Father's house are many mansions, states of consciousness. In our body temples we are building, by thoughts and acts, not only our physical bodies, but the mental and spiritual bodies as well. Christ, the Master, said, "Not that which goeth into the mouth defileth a man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth a man." Those of us who live to gratify only our fleshly bodies may be beautiful without, but we have so starved our souls that we are able to give out only that which makes for discord and corruption. In speaking of the scribes and Pharisees, Jesus said, "For ye are like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones, and of all uncleanness. Even so ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity." The same principle may be applied to right thinking, for we become what we think. The soul will seek that which it is builded, not only in the material plane but in the universal, for as a tree falls, so will it lie. This is well understood if we know and study ourselves, for we will realize that each experience is a lesson to help bring the knowledge of the whole, that I and my Father are one. When we are seeking to lose ourselves in the whole, it is possible to see ourselves as did the individual who had the following dream. "I saw myself pass out of my body and become three bodies, physical, mental, and spiritual. At first the physical was the largest, but as the other two grew it gradually became smaller until it finally faded into dust. The others then grew larger and moved around fourth-dimensionally. When our acts and thoughts are measured by the standard of Christ, and when we reach the place where we desire only to be channels of blessings to others, we have lost sight of ourselves. Then we have the mind of Christ, for he came not to be ministered to, but to minister, and gave his life as a ransom for many." We are physically that we have digested for the body. We are mentally that which we have thought, but it hasn't added one whit to the physical, has it? We are spiritually that we have digested in our mental beings. As indicated as a part of the body consciousness, that which a mind and a body entertains or applies becomes a part of that individual entity, shining forth in its relationships to men as a personality, and shortly in that super-consciousness as individuality that bears its relationship to the creative forces, or God. For, that upon which the physical body lives, that which it assimilates, that it becomes in essence, in its nature. That upon which the mental man lives, or feeds, or that he digests, that he becomes in the mental realm. The spiritual is ever aware. And there is only one spirit, that of good. As to the choice, or the application man makes of the spirit, this is up to the individual. That, then, as the entity has seen and understood, is the difference between individuality and personality of an individual or single entity. How can the body develop to a greater business success in its present work? By the perfect understanding of self and of its relations through those injunctions as given, one with another. That is, understand its relations to the individual and the individuals whom the body associates, giving of self in that manner and way that is rendering service to fellow man. The body is able, as given, and will attain to the success that it desires when it knows the end of the desire. The desire without knowing the inmost recesses of that condition in which the body, physically, mentally, would be placed by receiving such desire, brings condemnation only to self. Know the law of the Lord is perfect. That thou hast measured, that thou hast sown, that thou must reap. Do it graciously, do it patiently, and ye will find grace and mercy as ye show grace and mercy. Was the loss of my leg a karmic debt, and if so, what? This is an experience that is necessary for thy better unfoldment. Not as in payment for something, but that ye might know the truth that might set you free. For, what ye are, as in each activity, gives a strength, or weakens thee, for the next lesson ye are to recite. How well ye will meet the problems as they are presented depends upon how well ye have mastered, and do master, the problems before thee from day to day in the present, that of the stability of purpose, of the ideals innate in the entity. Hark to that experience, for whether the entity chooses in a field of that of the mental, of the spiritual, of the social, of the financial, when the entity looks from within, sets before self an ideal, forgets self as only the one that may do the biddings of the higher forces, the entity excels. First find that peace that ye seek in thine own soul, thine own conscience. For, as he has promised ever, when ye call I will hear, and answer speedily. But know ye cannot hold a grudge, ye cannot hold malice, ye cannot hold injustice. For as he has given, when ye come, leave thy prayer, leave thy offering until ye have made peace with thy brother, until ye have made peace with thyself. For until ye find it in the desire of thy heart, in the purpose of thy soul to know the truth, and to have peace within thyself, ye cannot have it with thy brother, thy neighbor, thy son, nor in thy home. Thou art aware of the physical consciousness that may arise from desire of body, of appetite, of that cultivated in thy daily experience. Thou art aware of the mental abilities of the body, the mind. So are there urges that stimulate these awarenesses in thy conscious experience. Thus all thou art is the result of what thou hast done about thy opportunities, thy ideals, here, now, and in those awarenesses in whatever realm of consciousness the soul entity has been active. But know rather, as has been given by him, in whatsoever state ye find thyself of mind, of body, of physical condition, that is what ye have builded, and is necessary for thy unfoldment. If ye will but take him as thy guide wherever thou art, he will lead to that haven of rest, of harmony that is only found in him. In manifesting in the present, just where should I draw the line between being a non-entity and expressing my individuality? Let the expressing be, as has been given above, the individuality of the Christ, rather than a personality or an individuality of self. Be selfless in Christ. Ask thine self, what would the Christ have me do? Don't be afraid, but be rather alive in that thou doest. When thou hast acted unseemly, what has been the promise, what is the manner he has taught thee to pray? As I forgive, may I be forgiven. Ask forgiveness, and he may forgive thee. Is experience limited to this earth plane? As each entity, each soul, in the various consciousnesses, passes from one to another, the soul becomes conscious of that about self and that sphere to which it, the entity, the soul attains in a materially manifested way or manner. Hence the entity develops through the varied spheres of the earth and its solar system, and the companions of varied experiences in that solar system, or spheres of development or activity, as in some ways accredited correctly to the planetary influences in an experience. The entity develops through those varied spheres. Hence the sun, the moon, the stars, the position in the heavens or in all of the hosts of the solar systems that the earth occupies, all have their influence in the same manner. This is a very crude illustration, but very demonstrative, that the effect of a large amount of any element would attract a compass. Drawn to. Why? Because of the influence of which the mind element of a soul, an entity, has become conscious. A soul, an entity, is as real as a physical entity and is as subject to laws as the physical body is subject to the laws in a material world and the elements thereof.